René Deceuninck is a master in body language. He's a motivational speaker, coach, and trainer, and runs an exclusive international company. He has shared stages with Brian Tracy, Jack Canfield, and many other influential speakers in collaboration with Success Resources, the world's biggest event organizer for public speaking. René used to be hosting preview sessions for Anthony Robbins UPW Event. His clients are empowered with their new skills to read thoughts even before one word is spoken in meetings, in sales, and in everyday situations. Please get excited as we meet René. So, René, what an amazing introduction and lineup of people that you know around the world. And I believe we met when you had a book, Unstoppable Courage, and I was asked to write the foreword for it. And it was a compilation book. And so I'm really excited because one day I'm going to get my hands on a copy of that book. But since then, since 2020, we've been in contact, like spoken many times, many early morning calls, and my husband always walks past, "Hey, Renee." And of course, we all got to meet you in UK when we spoke at an event in London, and then again in Oxford, which was just an absolute honor and privilege as well to see you in action. So I've got a question for you.
Okay. Curious.
When did you first start to create that mindset for success?
I thank you for that question. That's a very deep question going back in my youth, because I was about 6, 7 years old when I was always dreaming. And I was probably not aware of that mindset at that time, because you're a kid, you're 6, 7 years old. What do you want? And I always got like the teacher saying, "Hey, Renee, it's over here." And I was always going back outside of the window. I saw an airplane coming by. I said, "Hey, a pilot. Wow, that would be something." And I saw somebody on a motorbike, and I said, "Hey, that could be me." And I was always dreaming, and the mindset of being a dreamer is always been there since I was a kid. And now I'm a grown-up kid, I would be able to call it, because I'm still dreaming. And I think in society, that's what a lot of people are missing, is the dream. I've got lots of examples about that, but it started when I was pretty young, and that mindset kept me going my whole life through until today. Yeah.
Wow. So it was just dreaming. You would see something and then turn that into a reality.
Yeah, it's the imagination that created that reality. For example, in school, I was bullied like crazy. I would go home crying. I wouldn't go to school in the morning. And I was going to prove myself to the world. And that was the fuel, you might say, that ignited those dreams even more and faster. So when I was 17, I said, "You know what? I'm going to prove myself to the world that I am good for something." And that dream of joining the Navy was there. And I was like, because I was born at the seaside in Belgium, and the Navy, that was something. I fill in an application, and it came back positive, and I was like, wow. Where everybody would say like, "Hey, Renee, this is not for you. You're not going to make it. You're good for nothing." And but the dream was there, and I dreamed about it. And one very famous, how shall I say, well spoken business person once said, "When the dream is big enough, the facts don't count." And I joined the Navy, and I was like, wow. And then I saw people walking around stars and stripes, and I said, if they can, why not me? So I had another dream. I wanted to become like an officer, and I applied and got in. I was like, wow. Before I knew it, it was in engineering, roads and bridges and stuff. It was fascinating. And then, I saw people, I remind myself, as a kid, I saw an airplane coming by, and I wanted to become a pilot. And I applied. And as far as I remember, people say, "You're not going to make it pilot. You have to study for that." And they were right. Me and studying, we're not really best friends. And I had to study for that. But again, when the dream is big enough, the facts don't count. And I studied, I did everything I could. And before I knew it, I was sitting behind the screen of a very tiny airplane called Marchetti as a student pilot. And for me, that's the most beautiful proof that my thing, my was the dream. The dream is the mindset. And there's lots of other examples. Collaborating, you just mentioned in the intro, I collaborated with Tony Robbins through Success Resources, that is. And the fact that that was also one of my dreams. And I used to, do we have time for this? I got a short story about this.
Oh yes, please. That's exactly what we want to hear, because a mindset for success can change everything.
Absolutely, absolutely agree with that. If I wouldn't have gone through the journey I went through, I would never be where I am today, with the ups and the downs, But yeah, I used to be smoking cigarettes, and one day I was invited to go to Unleash the Power within Tony Robbins, and I said, yeah, sure. Who is that Tony Robbins dude, And so, and I didn't have the money, I didn't have the time, and they tried to convince me to go, and they succeeded. So I found the money, I found the time, and I went. And then afterwards, I went to a follow-up group called a peer group called Yes Group in Brussels. There was a Portuguese guy, and he said, Rene, after the meeting, did you learn something? I said, not really, because we're in the same industry, but it was fascinating to hear it from you. And he says, can I ask you a personal question? Now, that day I didn't smoke, and I was trying to quit smoking for a long time. And he asked me, how many years have you been smoking? And I said, huh? I said, how do you know? Because that day I didn't smoke, you couldn't smell it. He says, I can tell the color of your skin, this and this and that. And I said, wow, fascinating. I said, that many years. He says, wow. He says, how long have you been trying to quit? I said, excuse me? So that was really like, oh my goodness, what's happening here? And he says, you know what, buddy, I got something very special for you, your story, your past and the forces, etc., etc. We are 8 people on the planet. Today we're 7. We could use somebody like you. And I said, yeah, but what are you talking about? He says, well, I can't tell you. I said, excuse me? He says, no, it's for non-smokers only. And I felt it in my veins. He had something super special. I could feel it. You ever had that feeling? You feel it and you're like, yes, this is it. This is it. I want to know what it is. And he wouldn't tell me. So I went home that night smoking like a chimney. And it took me 3 months to take the decision, which I took. I said, this is it. I'm done with it. I quit. Picked up the phone. I said, hey, man, Ricardo, it's Rene from Belgium. What do you have? I quit smoking. And his only reply was, I don't believe you. I said, excuse me? I said, listen, when I take a decision, there's no way back, period. He says, okay, I'll send you an email with information. Have a look at it. If it's okay for you, reply, and let's see what happens. And he put the phone down. I said, I was going to ask him, what do you have? And I called him back, and he didn't pick up his phone. I said, man. So it took him 14 days. Hello, 14 days to send me that email. I was like, anyway, got the email, and the subject was application for personal bodyguard, Tony Robbins. And I said, wait a minute. I manifested that dream years ago. I would love to work and collaborate. And now this is actually happening. And then, long story short, I started collaborating, and then I was, through Success Resources, started representing him. That's just a tiny part of the whole thing I do in my entire business. It's not about me. It's not about what I did. It's about having that dream. And again, when the dream is big enough, the facts don't count. And when people say you can't do it, the only thing I can say, watch me, I'll show you. and so but also, Katrina, we both know that you have to do the work as well, isn't it?
Yeah. You can have the dream, but if you don't take any action, it's never going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that the
So
action is everything. And, hearing your story and every dream that you've had, no matter how big it is, and you've got a pretty big dream at the moment. Now, I remember in 2020, it was a dream, but you are making it a reality right now. And would you like to share a little bit about that?
You're talking about the resort?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge. Huge.
So yeah, it's a big dream of mine. It kept me busy, you might say, my entire life. Wow. So I went skiing for the very first time when I was 12 years old. It was 1977. And I fell in love with log homes, you know, these homes built with trees, not with planks, but with trees. And I fell in love with it. Now, from that moment on till today, wherever I travel, I see log homes. And I said, wow, you know, the universe is saying something to me. So I never took one piece of medication my entire life till today. We lived on homeopathics, on oils, on herbs. Through my parents, they were very into yoga, homeopathics, and still till today I do that. I mean, I'm gonna touch a piece of wood here because you never know what can happen in life, right? And that's the second part. The third part is that my basic
Oh, so
diploma
sorry. So sorry you didn't have any medication today.
at
You
all
you just never have
until
had
today.
medication, right?
No, no, it's yeah, it's a kind of, it's a way of living. It's a way of,
Yeah.
you know, also make sure you have the balance in life in terms of food and how you live and how you think and who you surround yourself with as well. Um, but then the third part is that I have a basic diploma, and a lot of people couldn't understand why I was flying in the forces based on a hotel school diploma. How do you do that? I mean, but that's the third part. I have the hotel school diploma, so I'm in hospitality. I'm a certified chef. I have a sommelier diploma. I've got all of these things. The fourth part is that I love traveling. I love big dreams, and I love also to serve. And I started like having a brainstorm session with a friend of mine in Dubai, and we came up with the idea: if you gather all that information together, what could you do with this? The experiences, you know, what you study, what you went through in life, from transport to army to, and the resort that we had in mind is now almost a reality. We're in the last straight line with the investors now. We're gonna build, and yeah, I was not expecting that question. We're gonna build a wellness resort, a luxury and wellness resort, an ecology wellness and luxury resort. So we're gonna build 20 log homes in the form of a heart. Why in the form of a heart? In the Japanese Chinese way of thinking, everything starts with the heart and stops with the heart. When you think about it, life starts with your heartbeat. When they check the baby inside, the first thing they check is the heartbeat, right? And the last thing that moves is your heart when you die.
Yeah.
There's a whole philosophy behind it. And then 20 log homes, a wellness center in the middle, with a restaurant on top, convention center in front of it. And yeah, it's a huge project because we're going to build it 8 times all over the planet, starting in the UAE and the Emirates. And this started as a dream. Started as like, I didn't know anything about investments. About 8, 9 years ago, I started studying it. And if you would have asked me what is an LOI on an MOU, I would say that's Chinese to me. You know, which are very simple terms in investment world. But yeah, it's been quite a journey. Today we're very, very, very already far in the whole building off. And yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, and it started again, you know, with a dream. It's and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how big the dream it is. The facts don't really count. If you have that dream, just go for it. And I think, you know, Catherine, you might agree with me if I would say, if people would only have a dream, life would be completely different, right? Because when you have a dream, you work towards it and you want to achieve it. And if a lot of people in life would have that one particular dream and work towards and go for it and be passionate about it and be, I mean, maybe obsessed about it. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm obsessed about my project, but I'm pretty passionate about it. And that's what's moving people. Yeah, I was watching a movie, Rudy, with Rudy Ruettiger, in Chicago South Bend. There's a football movie about American football, but the movie on its own is all about the dream. get there, and then do all the work to get there. Because when I say do all the work, there's a lot of, like, to give you one example, is that in finding the investors, I went through a lot of scams. And if you don't pay attention to it,
Yeah.
you get them too. But along the way, you learn and you apply and you delete, and but it's been a fascinating journey, absolutely. But it's all about the dream. And then when the dream is there, and you have that mindset of building a dream, you have something to look forward to work towards,
Hi, I'm Kath Malloy. I'm an author, speaker, and trainer. And I'm here today just to let you know about the $1 Million Handshake. So this book came out by Hachette in 2018, and very quickly it made it to the Business Book of the Year in UK for 7 Dials, and Orion Books actually, they published Harry Potter, they picked it up and they bought the international rights. And since then it's been released in different languages. So this is for Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau. This is in Vietnam. A girlfriend walked past the bookshop and she said, "Kath, your book's there." So they bought the international rights as well, and we're so excited because we're going over to work there in 2024 in Vietnam. And of course, we've got the wonderful Australian version that was put out by Hachette Australia and New Zealand. So we react before we speak, and this is one of the biggest problems that we have in business and in life today. And so this book is helping actually work out how we can stop that miscommunication, how we can be more present in the situations, and how we can create more win-wins in our life. We've even got this little tiny Indian version because it's nice and light for the backpacks. So if you would like to create more win-wins in your life, then we would love you to pick up a copy of the $1 Million Handshake too. Speak soon.
It was interesting because someone said to me this morning, Kath, you're really obedient to listening. And I feel, Rene, that you are too, because as a young person, you saw these log cabins, you were always interested in them. And here you are doing a full circle, actually creating this health and wellness and aligning it to you grew up. You haven't had that medication. You take natural things to live well. And here is this full circle. I love nothing more in life. And to anyone who's listening, creating that mindset for success, what did you love when you were young? Because when we are doing that, when we're older, we're fulfilling that childhood dream. And when you're passionate about something, it comes out of you, and then others are passionate about it too, because I can hardly wait to go. And what you've done is phenomenal. The conversations that you've had around at this dream, and you've really had to, push. And this lady said to me today, if you're on a big a big poster around the world, what would it be saying? I said, I think it might say push. What would yours say? What would be one word that you would see yourself standing there on a massive billboard? What would it say?
Dream big.
Dream big. There you go, of course, because that's what you've
Dream
always
big.
done.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting because, Rene, you're in the book, The Conscious Leader, and you're actually in the chapter that says lead with purpose. And because that is around our goal setting and understanding our values and aligning to those values. And a lot of the times we're given these values, when we're young. And so if anyone wants to hear a little bit more about the story, it's also in The Conscious Leader that I'm really excited to share. So, Rene, what has it taken to get to where you are today? And was there a time, and what have the times been like actually in this project where you felt maybe it didn't work, where your mindset was telling you something different? How did you change that to stay on track?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, is in the sense that I had my down moments too. People don't have to really think it's all roses and moonshine and success and fun, and it is fun. But we also have those moments that things are not working out properly. Those moments that you say, hey, listen, I got $10. Should I put gas in the car or should I put food on the table? I had these moments too. I had the moments I was super down and people say, why don't you quit? You know, it's not going to work anyway. You know, this is too big for you. You're not going to make it. And then you can either give in or say, wait a minute. And that's how did I encounter this is that I live near the beach here. And I would always say, listen, drop everything, leave your phone at home, close the computer, and go for a walk along the beach and do some breathing exercises. This is something I learned as well through other speakers. Like breathing exercises are super, super, super interesting when you do them properly, that is. And it's the mindset is you can change your mindset through breathing exercises and start thinking differently. Society is so overwhelmed by all these messages about you know, what's going on in the world. I'm not going to mention them here, but a lot of negativity, and you can even give in to negativity through radio and television. I don't have a radio. I don't have a television. I don't read papers. I don't read magazines. The only thing I do is that create my mindset for the success that I want. And everybody can do that. This doesn't cost any money. But when the moments came to me, I was down and I was negative because I had my negative moments too. I don't have them anymore, but I went for a walk and did breathing exercises.
Yeah.
And those breathing exercises refresh your mind with fresh oxygen, especially here along the beach. You got the iodine, you got the vitamin D. And that was really, for me, a game changer in going from time to time having a down moment to almost have no more down moments anymore. I still got them, you know, when you get a phone like this has happened or this happened, you go like, oh my God. But they take like 30-40 seconds. You reset your mind and, you know, you move on because you went through the process so many times. But but breathing exercises, go for a walk, detach yourself and let go of things from time to time. That's a good thing, you know.
I love that, to let go of things. I've got a big research happening on 16 seconds, and that's coming out in another book. But just like you were saying, we can reframe, we can have these thoughts, they can go, we can bring in new thoughts, and getting out in that fresh air. So if anyone's listening and you are getting a bit stuck right now, just absolutely leave all your bits and pieces at home and get barefoot in the grass, in the sand. Just get outside and, you know, go for that walk, ground yourself in Mother Nature, and boy, it makes a difference.
Yeah, so true. I mean, and even in
So
the center of London, when people say, yeah, well, I'm living in the center of London, there's plenty of beautiful parks in London where you can go for a walk and
yeah,
there's always
gorgeous.
there's always an excuse why not. There's always a reason why, right? So it's up to each individual to take that decision.
Mindset for success, no excuses.
Absolutely, absolutely. And do the work. Yeah.
So anything else you'd like to share before I roll the dice?
I would say to people, if you have a dream, if you have a big dream, just go for it. And if you don't have a dream, sometimes I'm approached by people say, hey, I don't have a dream. I don't know what my dream is. I use a little bit of NLP there, and I said, what is your dream? And I said, I don't know. And I say then my next question is, suppose you would know, what would it be? Which is NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, wow, yeah. And then you ignite the brain and people start thinking. And then I said, write down 10 things about your dreams. What is your dream number one, dream number two, right? And then pick one that has priority number one, and then just work for it, go for it, do it. You said, oh, wow, is it that easy? I said, well, yeah, it is. But yeah, go for your dreams. And don't, and one thing from Jim Rohn I would like to add to it is watch out the 5 people you surround yourself with. So important. The people you surround yourself with, and make sure they motivate you, make sure they help you, make sure they are, you know, they are a little bit aligned with you, what you think and where you want to go. And yeah, the 5 people you surround yourself is who you become, right? That's what Jim Rohn used to say. If you have a big dream, just go for it. Yeah, and please
Go
go
for
for
it.
it.
I love Nike. Just do it. So
Yeah.
we're going to do this right now. I have 3 dice. You're going to choose one. What color would you like?
The blue one, please.
Oh, so why blue?
I love blue.
Great communication color. Oh my goodness, you got number 6.
Oh, wow.
Let's have a look at number 6. Oh, this is just the perfect card for you. Do visualization techniques help create a mindset for success, and how do they do it?
I have a vision board everywhere. I can't show you on the laptop right now because we're having the podcast. But if I would show it on my phone, for example, and I'm not kidding you, this is the real thing, is just bear with me 1 second. I'll show you my vision board on my phone is this.
Oh yeah, wow, there's that log home.
So we have the log homes. Then you have the family. Family is super important to me. Then you have $25 million times 10 because I need 255 million. Then we have the Aston Martin. I'm a very big fan of Aston Martin. And on the bottom you have the Escalade, Cadillac Escalade, and then right next to the Aston Martin you have the airplane, because these are the things I'm looking forward to really do them, have them, and enjoy them. Yeah. So to come back to the question, to the dice, to the question number 6 is that make sure you visualize a lot, you dream a lot, and you look on the internet. Hey, why an Aston Martin? Look at the Aston Martin. Why does that make you feel? I mean, I drove a Ferrari and didn't ignite anything. It was like nice, it's beautiful, love it, beautiful design. It's Italian, but it didn't really spark anything. But when I step into an Aston Martin, it's like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
It has to be yours, right? What you just saw on my phone is mine. Then there's not influenced by anything or anybody. And yeah, just make a list of what you really would like to achieve and do, and then make a vision board. And yeah.
Well,
Wow.
congratulations. So I'd say the answer to do visualization techniques help create a mindset for success? Yes, they do. Well
Yeah.
done. And look, thank you so much for sharing with us today. And usually I get to pull a card of a quote. However, I've been whisked away to Brisbane, and that's why I'm sitting here in an apartment right now. And I just want to share them one of my quotes. Never let yesterday use up today. And this was the biggest thing that got me through in a time of crisis in our family. And I had to start a business from scratch when we lost everything. And I just had this plastered everywhere. Never let yesterday use up today. So everything that I needed to get done in that day, I would do so that my next day wasn't wasted doing what I was supposed to have done the day before. And
Yeah.
I hope that helps someone else out there, because it is something that I live by, and it has made such a difference for me in business and life.
Yeah. No, that's so true. So true. I mean, I really completely agree with you in the sense that it's what happened yesterday. I can't change it anyway. I mean, try it. And if you find a way, if you find a way, please share it with me. But you can't change it anyway. So what you just mentioned is so true. Really agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's
Well,
so many
stay.
more things we'd like to share, but it's have the big dream and just go for it. Create a mindset of being a big dreamer.
Yeah. Have a
Yeah.
big dream, everybody. Just go for it, and we'll speak soon. Bye for now.